You think your personality is just who you are, but some of your strongest traits didn't come from choice. They came from survival, and you're still acting them out without noticing. When people hear the word trauma, they imagine something extreme. Big events, big pain, but trauma doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it looks like habits you call normal, the way you react, the way you think, the way you relate to people. This video isn't about blaming your past. It's about exposing the hidden ways it quietly shaped. So you stop mistaking survival for personality. Point 1. Trauma turns awareness into hyper-vigilance. Here's the first uncomfortable fact. Trauma doesn't make you weak. It makes you alert. Too alert. If you grew up needing to watch moods, tones, or sudden changes, your brain learned one rule: stay ready. So now you notice everything. A pause in a reply, a sigh, a shift in energy. In real life, this looks like overthinking. You replay conversations, you scan faces, you feel tension before anyone speaks. People might say you're so observant. What they don't see is the cost. Your mind rarely rests. That strong intuition you're proud of, it was trained in unsafe environments. You're not calm because you're wise. You're alert because once it mattered. Point 2. Trauma shapes your need for control. Trauma teaches one dangerous lesson early. When things feel unpredictable, control feels like safety. So you plan, you organize, you rehearse, you hate surprises, you hate relying on people. In daily behavior, this shows up quietly. You struggle to relax. You get irritated when plans change. You prefer doing things yourself, not because you're confident, but because trusting feels risky. You might call yourself disciplined. But deep down, control isn't about excellence. It's about preventing chaos you've already lived through. Letting go feels irresponsible, because once letting go meant getting hurt. Point 3. Trauma warps how you read relationships. Trauma doesn't just affect how you feel, it affects how you interpret people. Your brain learned patterns early, and now it keeps applying them, even when they no longer fit. So you assume silence means rejection. You assume distance means something's wrong. You assume conflict means abandonment is coming next. In real life, this looks like emotional guessing. You fill in gaps with fear instead of facts. Someone is busy. You feel ignored. Someone disagrees. You feel unsafe. You're not too sensitive. You're reacting to old emotional rules that were once accurate, but now distort reality. Point 4. Trauma can make you emotionally self-sufficient. Here's a trait people praise, but rarely understand. Trauma often creates extreme independence. You learned early not to need too much, not to ask, not to rely. So now you handle everything alone. You struggle to receive help. Compliments make you uncomfortable. Support feels awkward. People admire your strength. They don't see the isolation behind it. You don't trust that help will stay, so you build a life where you don't need it. But independence born from trauma isn't freedom. It's protection disguised as pride. Point 5. Trauma changes how you experience emotions. Trauma doesn't always make you emotional. Sometimes it does the opposite. If feeling deeply once overwhelmed you, your brain learned to turn the volume down. So now joy feels muted. Sadness feels distant. You feel fine most of the time, but rarely fulfilled. This isn't numbness by choice. It's emotional survival. Your system learned less feeling equals less pain. The problem is it also equals less connection, less presence, less life. Here's the truth most people never confront. Some of the traits you defend the hardest are the ones trauma installed to keep you alive. Your calm, your independence, your awareness, your self-control. They're not flaws, but they're not pure personality either. If you never question them, you'll keep living in reaction to a past that's already over. Healing isn't becoming someone new. It's learning which parts of you were built for survival and which ones are still choosing for you. Trauma doesn't disappear when the event ends. It hides inside habits, reactions, and identities. The moment you notice this, you stop asking, "What's wrong with me?" and start asking, "What did I learn to survive?" That question changes everything. If you want more videos that decode human behavior and expose the psychology behind everyday patterns, subscribe to the channel.